Thank you, Christy. I just wanted to welcome everybody this afternoon and thank you for your patience with us. Um, Christy, Melanie, and myself, Debbie, will be facilitating today's session. And if you could use the chat box and let me know what your key takeaways from session 1 were. Okay. When in doubt, it's due by the second business day by 7 p.m. Pay attention to the deadlines. Those are very good. Pay attention to deadlines. All right. And in session 1, we covered the issuer's primary responsibility and subservicing partnerships. We covered resources and reference documentation available to issuers on the Ginnie Mae website and touched on some Ginnie Mae terms. Also, we covered the monthly reporting timeline, including the major deadlines for missing pool and loan data, and when critical alerts must be cleared, and explained in detail the e-notification process. We reviewed the 4 file layouts: the pool, the loan, the sensitive, and various record. And today we'll focus on the 2 bolded modules on the slide. In this module, we'll define common exception messages and summarization alerts, explain how to navigate the exception feedback summary screen, and list steps on how to download your exception feedback CSV file. RFS is the reporting and feedback system. Both pool and loan level information may be entered online in RFS, or a file may be uploaded. Any information input into RFS is subject to editing. This upload exception feedback is provided for any files that are accepted and can be viewed on the financial acknowledgement screen in RFS and also within e-notification. This is the initial edit process. Data uploaded or entered manually online will be processed by RFS and will be summarized only if 90% of data has been reported and/or accepted. The summarize process performs the accounting calculations for the pools and loans within the issuer's portfolio. Summarization occurs automatically when the issuer has reported 90% of the pool and loan data. Also, there is a nightly bulk summarization for all issuers meeting the 90% criteria to include any data manually entered online in RFS. If 90% of data was not accepted and the summarization process was not completed, the summary screen will not display correct values. The issuer should review their exception feedback. First, navigate to My Ginnie Mae to exception feedback, which is PAEF, then the summary screen. This provides a snapshot of the monthly reporting activity and total number of outstanding exceptions. Then click on the Exceptions tab at the top of the screen to display a snapshot of outstanding exceptions. By clicking the Download tab and clicking Download Exceptions, this will download a full list of outstanding exceptions as a CSV file. And a best practice would be to save this download of exceptions daily. Summarization performs important calculations in RFS, which include the number of pulls expected and the number of pulls reported by the issuer, number of loans expected, and number of loans reported by the issuer. Loan level delinquency is based on the current reporting period from field 3 of the file header record and last installment paid date from field 12 of the loan record. The pool FIC, or FIC, is compared to the loan level reported FIC, and the principal and interest collected, which is summarized from the loan level. Summarization generates exceptions when inconsistencies exist between pool and loan level reporting and occurs when 90% of the data is reported. As a reminder, there is a nightly bulk summarization for all issuers that have reported at least 90% of their pool and loan data. This slide shows a snippet of Appendix 6-19 with possible exception messages for each field. An E-level RFS 111 exception explains that there is no activity reported for the current reporting period, which means the pool's missing. This exception would display on the pull screen in RFS and would appear on the exception download CSV file. To fix the RFS 111 exception, the pool would have to be manually entered into RFS on the pull screen, or a file would have to be uploaded that included the missing pool. Also, summarization alerts are italicized in Appendix 6-19 and only appear in RFS once 90% of the issuer's data is reported in RFS. Page 1 and 5 of Appendix 6-19 explains the severity level of exceptions. If you receive an error or E-level exceptions, then your record did not load into RFS. E-level exceptions can occur on any of the 4 types of records, which are the pool, loan, sensitive, and various. The RFS 111 missing pool exception must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day. Other outstanding E-level exceptions are expected to be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. Critical or C-level exceptions are related to remittance and/or disclosure data. These only occur to pool and loan level reporting. The C RFS 204 missing loan exceptions must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day. Other outstanding C-level exceptions are expected to be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. High or H-level exceptions are related to pool and/or loan level reporting. Medium or M-level exceptions are related to loan matching or suspense. Low or L-level exceptions may occur on any of the information on the 4 types of records. The error and critical exceptions should be cleared either the second or the fourth business day, and the high, medium, and low exceptions should be addressed by the 10th business day. To access the summary screen in RFS, log in to MyGennieMay, click on Tools, then click on PAEF for the exception and feedback module. The exception feedback summary screen is displayed. This screen shows a roll-up of all of the pool and loan level information that has been accepted from file upload or manual entry for the current month. Note, the drop-down box will display the current month report period and 17 months of prior data. You may only update data for the current month. If you're missing current data, this is where you would find a difference in the reported versus the expected loan and pools. On this particular issuer, there are 38 reported loans and 42 expected loans. Therefore, this issuer is missing 4 loans. There are 41 reported pools and 42 expected pools on the bottom half of the screen. Therefore, this issuer is missing 1 pool. There are 23 outstanding pool exceptions and 11 outstanding loan exceptions. In a quick story, an issuer contacted Ginnie Mae Issuer Support stating she received a call from the investor concerning delinquent loans. The issuer stated that they did not have any delinquent loans. We researched the reported data in RFS and determined these loans were not delinquent. The issuer reported the current month payment, but did not report the correct last installment paid date in RFS. We viewed the RFS summary screen and there were 12 loans delinquent 1 month based on the last installed paid date. This is why you should compare the data on the RFS summary screen to your internal servicing system as soon as possible. Here is the exception feedback tab, which displays the outstanding exceptions. If you are missing pools or loan, this is where you would see the count of the missing RFS 111 pool exceptions, which is 1, and outstanding 3 missing loans RFS 204 exceptions. If you remember from the RFS summary screen, which was the prior slide, there were 4 loans missing. This exception feedback screen only shows 3 loans missing. This difference in the missing loan count occurs when a pool has not been reported. Once the pool is reported, the RFS 204 will generate. Also, this particular issuer has other outstanding exceptions which will need to be worked. There are 2 ways to retrieve your pool and loan level exceptions. Issuers may go to the Exception tab from the Exception Feedback module in RFS and click the blue link to view them through the Exception tab. Or the issuer may download a CSV file. Downloading the full list of exceptions is recommended. To download exceptions into a CSV file, navigate to the Exception Feedback module and click on the Download tab. Then click on the Download Exceptions in the dark blue bar. To download a list of all of your outstanding exceptions, click the Download button at the bottom of the screen. Also, if your organization is a subservicer, you may check the Download Subservice Issuer box on the right side of the page to download all active exceptions for all of the issuers you subservice. After clicking the Download button at the bottom of the previous slide, the instruction page will display. Follow the instructions by right-clicking on the Download Exception CSV file. Then select the Open in New Window option that is in the box on the right bottom corner of the screen. The CSV file opens and will display all of your outstanding exceptions, and please save this file as an Excel. After clearing any exceptions, issuers should always save and summarize the pool activity record by clicking the Save and Summarize Pool button at the bottom of the pool screen. If you have reported or updated a loan record, the calculated pool security RPB may change and create a new exception after the nightly bulk summarization. In another story, on the third business day, if an issuer liquidates a loan and does not save and sum the pool, then on the morning of the fourth business day, that issuer will have multiple critical alerts on the pool record. Then the issuer will need to clear critical exceptions prior to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. Okay, if we could please post the first polling question. How are summarization alerts identified in Appendix 619 report of pool and loan data? That was a few slides back, but all right, yes, B is correct. Exception message is printed in italicized text. Okay, if we can show polling question number 2. There we go. What % of data must load for summarization to occur? And I think I may have repeated this one multiple times. All right. And the answer is D, 90% of accepted data. All right, very good. We'll take a 5-minute break and then reconvene to continue training, which Christy will be presenting. So if we can start the 5-minute timer, and we will see you all back here.
Okay, thanks so much, Debbie, for that great part of the presentation, and welcome back from break. So in this module, we will describe the methods used to submit data, requirements to report data, and how to report corrections and confirm your file was successfully uploaded. This was touched base earlier in the presentation. Issuers can submit data online through RFS activity screens. They may also use file upload function within RFS and use Secure File Transfer Protocol, better known as SFTP. This is a secure channel which the issuer would need to coordinate with Ginnie Mae and Bank of New York Mellon to obtain the required forms. The preferred method of reporting data is using one of the file upload functions through RFS file upload or the SFTP secure channel. RFS does not distinguish between an original file and a correction file. All files use the same format. Once a file is received and processed, the data is incorporated into the previous data. Data cannot be reversed or backed out after a file is accepted. RFS provides information feedback on your file submission. Receive a functional acknowledgement with an A for accept or an R for reject. There are two different access points to acquire the information: e-notification and exception feedback download. Files can reject due to many different situations. Most common is the length of the record or incorrect file name. Please do not assume that your file will be uploaded or will upload. Please verify. To view the FA in RFS, access the exception feedback screen. Select Download. The screen shows several download options. Screen also displays file information, receipt date, pull and loan count, and the AR status. The issuer has submitted 3 files, 2 rejected and 1 accepted. To view the reason the file rejected, place your cursor over the file name that you want to review, which is on the far left of the screen, and click. The slide shows a full FA screen. The far right of the screen shows that the file has been accepted. Includes the number of records in each file type. The number of pull records is 41, and there is also 41 loan records. 0 files for the S and V records. Let's look at a reject file. The slide shows that the file shows a file that was rejected. Includes the reason the file was rejected, the name of the format is incorrect, along with the number of records in each file type: 41 pulls and 41 loans, 0 S and V records. Should a file reject, please correct the reason for the reject and resubmit the file. The information on the top of this slide is from e-notification. A few slides back, we saw an issuer that had submitted 3 files. E-notification is also showing 3 PA functional acknowledgements, 1 for each file. If you open each FA for the order received, shows the issuer has 2 files that rejected and 1 file that accepted. The FA from eNote does not display the reason the file rejected. You will need to review the RFS download screen and open the file and read the reject message. The 1 file that has accepted created a PA exception feedback message. To access the pull and loan screens, you will need to select PA MF. This opens the screen where you have several options. the pull record and loan record, quarterly verification, and prepayment penalty, and each module has a user guide. Let's review the pull record. Give me a thumbs up if you've noticed the plus sign in the bottom left. Wonderful. I see some thumbs. So when you view the pull screen, there are several links to additional data. All the links with a red box is for the presentation only. Near the top of the screen, you can view the RFS 11710A. If you scroll down the screen and look in the bottom left, there are links for the custodial bank information and pull transfer history. At the bottom of the screen is one of the most important items on the screen, the Save and Summarize button. Please remember to select the Save and Sum button after entering pull and loan data. When you select the custodial bank, the screen displays the information reported on the pull record, the bank account, and the ABA number. The ABA field is also used in the custodial account verification process. If you select Pull Transfer History, the screen displays the date the pull was issued and if there is any pull transfer history. We have received positive feedback from several issuers stating that the pull transfer screen has helped them when researching pull issues. Let's look at the data you will see when you select the View 11710A. The data on the 11710A is from the issuer reported pull and loan records, along with the RFS calculated values and information reported at origination. Issuers are required to generate and maintain an 11710A each month. The RFS 11710A is not considered a substitute for system-generated forms. We have split this form into two slides. Section 1 is the loan information, which are the collections, prepaid and delinquent amounts, and delinquencies. Reported loan data rolls to Section 1. Delinquent information is calculated from the last installment date reported at loan level. If you ever have discrepancies between in-house data and the RFS summary, you can download all 11710A and review each pull in an Excel file. Section 2 is a combination of reported loan data, calculated data from pull record, and origination data. Additional principal, liquidations, and other adjustments roll from the reported loan information. Section 3 includes the reported security balance as reported on the pull record. Section 4 shows the calculated guarantee fee, and Section 5 is the bank account information. At the very bottom of the screen, there is a link to return to the pull record. This is another enhancement which we have received positive feedback from issuers. So let's review the loan record. Within the loan record in the toolbar, you'll notice links to access loan list, pull list, edit construction, edit project, and liquidate loan. The top half of the screen is the information when the pull was originated. Loan OPB and amount securitized, interest rate, FIC, and term. Also, the name of the project and the address. The bottom half of the screen shows the loan activity, the current month's collections, LPI, and ending balance of loan. At the very bottom of the screen is the Save button. Anytime you update and save a loan record, remember to also go to the pull record and save in sum. By saving and summarizing the pull, this will cause the loan level unscheduled principal and our liquidations to move to the pull record. At the bottom left of the screen, there is a link to the project loan various data. At the bottom of the screen, there's also a link to the various data. Here are the 4 fields for multifamily various data. If you have reported various data for a project loan, you may review the data by selecting the link on the far left. You may also view this screen when you have suspended various data. To liquidate a loan in RFS within the loan screen, you will click on Liquidate Loan link in the dark blue toolbar. Under Liquidation Activity on the left-hand side, you will input the last installment date, select one of the 6 removal reasons from the drop-down box, and enter the actual removal date. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will enter the liquidation interest and liquidation principal. Once you enter the liquidation principal, the liquidation balance will auto-populate as RFS takes the opening UPB and subtracts the liquidation principal. Make sure you click the Save button at the bottom of the Liquidate Loan screen. Then navigate to the Pull screen and click the Save and Sum Pull button. By saving and summarizing the pull, RFS moves the liquidations in full FIC and the liquidation balance over to the liquidation field on the pull screen. This process allows the issuer to pass through the liquidation funds to the security holders. This also lowers the RPB of the pull for the current reporting month. You may wonder how the liquidation interest and principal are calculated on the Liquidate Loan screen. Here is a sample of the liquidation amortization schedule. On Ginnie Mae MBS pools are scheduled, meaning that the issuer must pass through the scheduled interest and scheduled principal, whether you collect the payment or not. All liquidated loans are amortized 1 month greater than the current reporting period. This reduces the liquidation principal balance by the scheduled balance, which is included on the pull record. The total interest due and total principal remitted totals at the bottom of the liquidation record are essential for the liquidate loan screens in RFS. The MBS guide requires that issuers maintain a liquidation schedule, also known as the HUD 11710E, for each loan that is removed from a pool. This is for audit purposes. Most servicing systems will complete a similar liquidation report like the one displayed. If your servicing system does not generate a liquidation report, you should manually complete one of the liquidations for the liquidating during the reporting month. As a reminder, in 2020, there was an RFS enhancement which gives issuers the opportunity to download a liquidation report to assist them in balancing their loan removals. The liquidation report is available in PAEF, which is Pull Accounting Exception Feedback, within the Download tab. I'll now turn it over to Melanie.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, so please raise your hand if you use the pool list function. Great. I see a few thumbs up. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, but by selecting the pool list, issuers are able to view each pool number, pool type, the pool status, and the loan count for each pool. You can access this information when in the pool record by selecting Pool List. Please enter your lowest numeric pool number so the complete list will show. If you only have alphanumeric pool numbers, please enter the lowest pool ID starting with A. You can click on the pool status to view the individual pool record. To view loan records, click on the pool ID number. Within the loan record, you can view the loan list. To see the loan list, you will select Loan List, and enter the pool ID. And you will need to enter the pool ID to retrieve your loan numbers. Okay, and you may then select the unique loan ID to view the individual loan record. This is helpful if you do not know your unique loan ID that was assigned at origination. So again, by selecting the Loan tab, you will click on the loan list and enter the pool ID to see all of the loans associated with that pool. So this screen shows an active multifamily pool loan list. I selected a pool that had 5 loans to show you a good example of a loan list. Once you click on the unique loan ID for the loan you'd like to view, the loan activity screen will open. The pool activity screen contains fields that the issuer reports. These fields contain data that is rolled to the pool record from reported loan activity. The sections highlighted by a red box are reported by the issuer. Now, always remember to report P&I and TNI and replacement reserve funds that you are holding in your bank account. If loan payment funds are collected from the borrower, you should be reporting a service fee. And as always, save and summarize the reported data. So the loan screen captures individual loan activity. This screen reports loan collections, reversals, or adjustments. Okay, it was mentioned earlier that the reported last installment paid date determines if the loan will calculate as delinquent. So please note, the calculation is not determined by the ending loan balance. So it is very important that you accurately report the last installment paid date on the loan. And you'll notice a red box around the various link, and there you may view various data and also the save button. Please remember to save your data. So we have mentioned a save several times to ensure you save all loan records after any change, and also save and summarize pool records after any pool or loan change or correction. We once had a multifamily issuer that manually corrected over 100 pool and loan exceptions. However, the issuer saved but did not summarize the pool record. They were very lucky this occurred on the 3rd business day, so they had time to correct the data. Okay, so another important enhancement was merging that separate save and summarize function on the pool record. The feedback from that enhancement has been very positive. We've mentioned enhancements a few times already. Some additional enhancements are on the download screen. Here you may download all of your liquidations for the month. You can download your RFS summary data and download the 11710A. If you are a subservicer, you have the ability to download one file for all of the issuers you subservice. You can review the 11710A, P&I and TNI bank balance per pool, and verify that the correct ABN account numbers are listed. Okay, now let's review examples of reporting pool and loan data. So if you have a non-amortizing PN pool, the slide here shows you how to report that first month in RFS. So first, the opening FIC should be 0. The adjustment to FIC must be the loan level FIC and entered as a positive number. The closing FIC should be the same number as the adjustment to FIC. A scheduled principal and total principal amounts should be 0. And lastly, the closing security RPB should equal the opening security RPB. Okay, and you may ask, how do I determine when to report a new loan that does not amortize until 2 or more months after the pool is issued? Well, the answer is refer to the mortgage note for the first payment date of principal and interest. It would be it would be at least 2 months greater than the pool issuer date. And this first payment date should agree to the first payment date entered on the 11706 in MFPDM. So for a CL or CS loan, construction loan draws are entered on the Edit Construction screen in the Principal Draw field. The construction loan draw should be entered as a positive whole number. You will not enter cents in the Principal Draw field. To find the draw amount, review e-notification for the daily transfer sheets formatted draw notification. Also, there may be someone from your secondary marketing or capital markets team that can provide you with withdrawal information. So once you have entered the construction draw amount on the loan, you'll navigate to the pool screen, save and summarize the pool, and ensure the draw amount carries over correctly. Liquidations are reported on both pool and loan records. Displayed here is an edit project loan that's been liquidated. You'll notice liquidate loan appears in red in the upper left-hand corner. On the pool record, the liquidation in full FIC and the liquidation balance carry over to the loan record once the pool is saved and summed. The red boxes show the liquidation in full FIC and the liquidation fields. Interest rate reductions, also known as IRRs, should have a liquidation removal reason code of 6 other. In order to process a code 6 other, issuers must receive written permission from Ginnie Mae prior to removal. And you may ask, are IRRs like modifications? And the answer is yes. IRRs are exactly like modifications. And we have a polling question here. Polling question number 3. When do you summarize a loan record? When do you summarize a loan record? Sure, you've heard us mention several times to save and also save and summarize. So when do you summarize a loan record? Okay, so this was actually a trick question. You will save a loan record, but you will save and summarize a pool record. So, yep, it was a trick question. A few of you all got that answer right. Okay, let's see what our next polling question is. Which screen can you use to locate bank account information? On which screen can you find your bank account information? Would it be the loan screen, the pull screen, your download exception feedback, or your RFS summary screen? Where would you find bank account information? Okay. Can we see the responses, please? Okay, great. The majority of you chose the correct answer, your pull screen. The pull screen will show your bank account information. Okay, so let's move on to our last polling question. Which records are required each month? Which records are required each month? Your pull and sensitive, your loan and various, your pull and loan, or your pull, loan, sensitive, and various records? Which records are required each month? I'll give you a little bit of a hint. These records are actually due by the second business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, great. The majority of you answered correctly. It is your pull and loan records. That is correct. They are required each month by 2 p.m., excuse me, by 7 p.m. on the second business day. Okay, so here let's analyze the exception feedback download file as a group. When you are working on your exception feedback, Appendix 6-19 defines the exception feedback severity level, exception code, and exception message. All of us at Ginnie Mae Issuer Support, we keep a printed copy of Appendix 6-19 on our desk to assist us with answering questions regarding exceptions. Okay, so you'll notice row 1 displays the column headings. You have the ability to sort the exception download list based on your needs. And this list here is sorted by severity code. Both the code and the field name identify whether it is a pull or a loan exception. This exception download example was downloaded on the first business day where only one file had been submitted. So using the chat box, please enter which alerts should be addressed first. When working your exceptions, which alerts should be cleared first? And please enter your responses in the chat box. Great. Very good. Great. I mean, that is correct. Definitely your E exceptions. The RFS 111, pull not reported, and RFS 204, loan not reported, should be addressed first. And these are E exceptions. 100% of pull and loan data reporting is required, but by the deadline of 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day. Once all pull and loan data is reported, second, you will work your E and C, which are your error and your critical alerts. Error and critical alerts must be worked prior to the 4th business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. And then after you've worked your E and C alerts, next issuers will work the remaining high, medium, and low alerts prior to the 10th business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. Okay, so let's combine questions 2 and 3. Using the chat box, tell us how you would clear your critical alerts. And also, what are the steps involved in addressing each alert? So using the chat, how do you clear your critical alerts? And what steps are involved in addressing each alert? Do you sort your exception feedback by severity? Okay. I see an answer, working through the exceptions on the loan records and the pool records. Compare date to the trial balance report. Okay. Thank you, Mary. That's a good answer also. Usually go through them one by one after sorting them by pool. Critical errors then, right. That is a very good answer. Critical errors should be resolved first, E's and C's, and prioritize. Yes, Bonnie, thank you. Okay, thank you all for participating. Okay, so whether it is a critical high or low exception, alerts are cleared by following the same process. Determine if the outstanding alert is for the pool or the loan record. Review the pool or loan record in RFS, and then read the exception message. Like, what does it say? Okay, and then you'll compare your data reported in RFS to the data reported in your internal servicing system or your reports, and determine the correct value that should be reported. And once you determine the correct value, you'll update RFS with the correct information. Okay, and you'll continue to work your pool and loan exceptions until they are cleared. And as always, do not forget to save and summarize the pool record whenever any loan or pool has been updated. So we've come to our Q&A portion. If anyone has any questions, please unmute yourself and ask your question, or you can type it in the chat box. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
Hey, Melanie, really quickly, this is Krista. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to add, that was a great presentation. I just wanted to add, when you were making changes to the pool screen, and I think, I can't remember if it was you or Christy that showed how you can reprint the 11710A. If you do make changes to the pool, it is kind of like a best practice type situation to print or save that updated version of the 11710A for your records that produces from RFS, just so that when you're doing your field review or anything, that it is the most updated reporting info. Sometimes the 11710As that print from your servicing system, that information changes if there's a change made in RFS. So just kind of a suggestion, like best practice, so that field review is seeing, when they request to see 11710A, they're seeing the most updated reported information through RFS.
Thank you, Krista. It's very good information. Yes, that is very, very good practice.
And Melanie, if you can go to the next slide, I think it gives them the instructions on how to unmute. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
Mm-hmm. I know this is a new slide this time. So.
Do we have any other questions or suggestions or comments from the group? Or if you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat. Okay, well, we hope that you join us Friday for the next session, where we will cover additional reporting requirements and cash and reconciliation. We thank you for your attendance and your participation today. And let's see, do any of the Ginnie Mae account executives have anything to add?